Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Thursday, August 4th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Now, if you're looking for my MLB best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Of course, I'm always running my $15 MLB best bet, so you can check that out at Pick Dawgz Premium. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Thursday, August 4th. First up, we see the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Zach Thompson and Brandon Woodruff are your projected starters. Now, the Brewers have had pretty good numbers against righties offensively in the last month or so. They're earning more walks to the plate. They're not striking out as much. And they're number 3 in team OPS, number 2 in isolated power. They've already faced Zach Thompson and had pretty good success against him this season thus far. So I do think they're going to be able to get to Thompson and this Pittsburgh Pirates bullpen as well in this one on the road. In his starts against the Brewers this season, Thompson owns a 6.75 ERA, giving up 10 earned runs and 3 homers and only 13 innings pitched this year. Now on the other side, Brandon Woodruff just faced this Pirates lineup back on July 9th. It was actually the second straight start for him against the Pirates. Now he did pitch really well in the first few innings of that start. He got hit a little bit towards the end of his outing, but I still think he's the much better option here. In his last 12 innings against the Pirates, he's only given up 3 earned runs with 17 strikeouts combined. I like Milwaukee to run up the score in this one. Give me the Brewers here on the run line. Next up, we see the LA Dodgers taking on the San Francisco Giants. Clayton Kershaw and Jacob Junis are your projected starters for this one. Now, I'm going to look at the team total over for the Los Angeles Dodgers in this one. I'm going to take the team total over 4.5. You look at Jacob Junis, he's got a 2.78 ERA thus far, but a 4.05 expected ERA, pretty high FIP at 3.75. His strikeout numbers are down this season from last year with Kansas City, and we do know that he's always had a home run ball issue in his career, at least 1.0 home runs per 9 allowed throughout his career, and more towards the 1.5 to 2 range. So I do think the Dodgers are a lineup that's crushed righties as of late, number 1 in team OPS, top 5 in isolated power. I think they're going to be able to get the Junis here, and I also like this matchup for the Dodgers against this Giants bullpen. The Giants bullpen, not one of the strongest bullpens to begin with, but they are certainly struggling as of late particularly. So I just can't trust this Giants pitching staff right now. I think the Dodgers can score 5+ in this one. Give me the Los Angeles Dodgers team total over. Next up, we see the Oakland Athletics taking on the Los Angeles Angels. James Kaprielian and Jansen Junk are your projected starters for this one. Now, I have to say, even though I've been a critic of James Kaprielian this season, he has improved his game quite a bit when you look at his last few starts. He's faced the White Sox, the Rangers twice, the Blue Jays, and the Mariners in his last 5 outings, and only one of those starts he gave up more than 1 earned run. That was against the Rangers, where he gave up 3 earned runs. So really, not bad pitching from Kaprielian. He's gone at least 5 innings in all 5 of those starts, and the Angels' offense hasn't been very good as of late. When you look at their numbers against righties, 28th in isolated power in the last month, 26th in team OPS. So I think that Kaprielian can have another decent outing in this one. On the other side, Jansen Junk hasn't had a lot of work at the major league level this season, but he was very sharp in his first start of the year against the Kansas City Royals. He had a good amount of strikeouts in that game, didn't allow a single earned run. So I think Junk can also have a good outing against a pretty weak Oakland A's lineup. I'm going to take the under in this game, and the under is kind of be trending on this rundown video. I like the under in quite a bit of games in this card, but give me the under in this Oakland-Los Angeles battle. Next up, we see the Colorado Rockies taking on the San Diego Padres. Kyle Freeland and Joe Musgrove are your starters for this one. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Kyle Freeland's game this season, but I will say he's much better on the road this year than he has been at Coors Field. That's no surprise. Coors Field, a very hitter-friendly ballpark, but on the road this season, a 3.57 ERA for Freeland, 43 Ks in 53 innings, not too bad. Only 4 home runs allowed on the road, and he is coming off a couple of decent starts. I mean, against the Dodgers at home, he only gave up 3 earned runs in 6 innings. Against the Dodgers, you'll take that all day long. He's had 13 strikeouts in his last 13 innings, and he did struggle against the Padres last time out, but that was at Coors Field at a much more pitcher-friendly park in Petco Park. I do like Freeland in this one. I think the Padres, you look at their numbers, 21st in team OPS in the last 30 days against lefties. Not much better in isolated power, ranked 25th. So I think Freeland can have a quality outing here. On the other side, Java Joe Musgrove pitching well this season. He has been hit a little bit as of late, but the Rockies are really struggling against righties on the road this season. Their team OPS plummets when they're facing a righty on the road. And at home this year, Musgrove a 2.29 ERA. He has been razor sharp at Petco Park this season. I'm going to take the under in this Rockies-Padres game. I think it could be a close game and a low-scoring one as well. Give me the under. Next up, we see the Washington Nationals taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. We're going to see Paolo Espino for the Nationals, and the Phillies, they may be either going with Bailey Falter or Noah Syndergaard might be making his Phillies debut. I've seen both names pop up here and there. I believe it's Syndergaard, but we'll have to see. No matter who's starting in this game, I still like the Phillies on the money line. You look at Paolo Espino, he's got a sub-4 ERA, but coming off a really rough start against the Cardinals, 4 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 homers, and we saw the Phillies steal that game on the road on Wednesday afternoon against the Braves, 3-1, a big home run in the late innings by Nick Castellanos to give the Phillies the lead. And this is the type of game the Phillies have to win if they want to compete in the National League wildcard standings. The Nationals shorthanded. We know they lost Soto and Bell in the big trade there, and this lineup wasn't very good to begin with. Now they lose their top 2 hitters. It's going to be rough end of the year for the Washington Nationals. I don't think they're going to be able to compete in this particular spot. Give me the Philadelphia Phillies here on the money line. Next up, we see the Atlanta Braves taking on the New York Mets. Kyle Wright and Carlos Carrasco are your starters. This is going to be a great pitching matchup and a great series, a 5-game series, this one in the NL East division. Big series for playoff implications. Who's going to win this division? Now, Kyle Wright, as of late, struggling a little bit. Now, the Braves are still winning in the games that he's starting. When you look at his last 4 starts, giving up at least 1 home run in each of those games. The base hits are up there as well, and he hasn't really even faced the toughest of lineups. The Nationals twice, the Angels, and the D-backs. So 4 teams you could say below average offensively this season. The Mets a much tougher matchup on the road, especially. The Mets are hitting right-handed pitching very well in 2022. So I do worry a bit about Kyle Wright here. On the other side, Carlos Carrasco is in great form, so he is in much better form than Kyle Wright right now, as he hasn't given up a single earned run or a run at all in his last 3 starts against the Marlins, Padres, and Cubs. And Carrasco, in the games he's starting, the Mets are winning his games as well. So 2 really good pitchers this season. I like the Mets in this spot. I think these 2 teams are very close. That's why the line for this game is a pick 'em at -110. But with the Mets being at home, I think they have the slight advantage in terms of the starting pitching matchup. I think that's enough for me to take the Mets here on the money line. Next up, we see the Houston Astros taking on the Cleveland Guardians. We're going to see Justin Verlander and Mr. Zach Plesac on the mound for this one. Now, Justin Verlander, there's no doubting he's been one of the top pitchers in the American League this year, an ERA at 1.81. However, I do worry about him a little bit in this spot, as the Guardians are a very tough lineup to face, especially when you're a right-handed pitcher these days. And Verlander does have an xFIP above 3, so it does suggest there could be a little bit of regression in his game in the second half to worry about. When you look at the Guardians' top 10 in team OPS against righties in the last 30 days, they put up plenty of runs in that Diamondback series. They were competitive in that Tampa Bay Rays series. I think they can score 3 to 4 runs in this game. I like the Houston Astros bats to take care of the rest to get us over this total. Pretty low total because Verlander's on the mound. Plesac is not pitching well as of late, giving up a lot of home runs and sharply hit balls as well. The walks are also an issue for him as of late, which we're not used to seeing from Plesac. So I think the Astros can do put up a number of runs early on in this game. I like the over in the Astros Guardians. Next up, we see a nationally televised game between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Detroit Tigers. This one on Fox Sports 1. Jeffrey Springs and Drew Hutchinson are your starters. Now, the Tampa Bay Rays do have a pretty beneficial matchup here against Drew Hutchinson offensively, but this Rays lineup hasn't done much as of late, and a lot of that has to deal with the injuries that they're facing right now in the lineup. Not scoring more than 3 runs in most of the games as of late, and I don't see it happening in this game either, even though Hutchinson's not my favorite option on the mound. On the other side, the Tigers are facing a lefty, and they've definitely had better numbers against lefties offensively, but I don't think they're going to be able to blow out this Rays pitching staff either. It's been a really strong pitching staff this season. We're used to seeing that from a small market team like Tampa Bay. It's one of the reasons why they've had so much success in recent years. So I think this is going to be a low-scoring game yet again in a more pitcher-friendly park to begin with. Give me the under in this Rays-Tigers matchup. Next up, we see the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Minnesota Twins. Pretty good series we have on our hands here, and a great pitching matchup with Alek Manoah and Sonny Gray as your starters. Now, Alek Manoah giving up some base hits as of late, and he definitely had one of his weakest starts of 2022 last time out against the Detroit Tigers of all teams. Gave up 7 hits, 4 earned runs, a homer in that one, in a 4-2 Tigers win. And Manoah in his last 2 starts giving up 14 hits combined and only 11 1/3 innings and at least 1 home run in each of those starts. So I am a little bit concerned with those outings, especially against a Minnesota Twins team that has a much better lineup than the Red Sox and Tigers right now. Minnesota against righties has done a pretty good job offensively from really start to finish of this season, or start to now, I should say. On the other side, Sonny Gray's pitching well for Minnesota. He was injured just at one point of the year, but he's come back and pitched really well. You look at his numbers, last 2 starts, 11 innings, 2 earned runs combined, 12 strikeouts, only 1 home run and 2 walks allowed in those innings against the Padres and Tigers. And the Twins have won 3 of the last 5 starts that Gray has had on the mound, including the last 2. I like the Twins to get some runs on Manoah. I think Gray can have a solid outing. I know it's the Blue Jays' pretty tough lineup, but I think the Twins getting plus money here at home, that's where the value lies. Give me the Twins on the money line. The Blue Jays have really struggled on the road this season. Next up, we see the Chicago Cubs taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. Marcus Stroman and Jose Quintana are your projected starters for this one. Quintana making his Cardinals debut here. I think Quintana is pitching really, really well, and I think the Cubs offense just hasn't been impressive lately, especially in their last few games, I'd say. In the St. Louis series, the Cubs were obviously shut out in the first game of the set. They were shut out in the final game of that Giants series on the road. So I do think that the Cubs are going to struggle offensively yet again in this spot. On the other side, Marcus Stroman's pitching really well. In his first 4 outings of July, 4 innings against the Dodgers, shutout baseball. 4 1/3 against the Mets, only 1 earned run. 6 innings against the Phillies, only 1 earned run. And then 6 innings last time out against the Giants, no earned runs allowed. He is pitching the best we've seen in quite some time, and I think he can keep these Cardinals bats down at least for a little while. Cubs bullpen's not the sharpest this season, especially with their trade deadline moves getting rid of most of their bullpen, but I still think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I like the under in this Cubs-Cardinals matchup. In our next matchup, we see the Chicago White Sox taking on the Texas Rangers. Johnny Cueto going for the White Sox, and an MLB debut here for Cole Reagans on the mound for the Texas Rangers, a lefty starter. He's pitching pretty well in AAA and AA this season, double-digit Ks per 9 in both locations. The walks really not too much of an issue here and there, about 2.5 to 3 walks per 9. Home runs per 9, not bad either. And the White Sox, they've been known to be lefty killers in the last few seasons. Even this year, at the beginning of the year, the White Sox were crushing lefties, but not necessarily the case anymore. When you look at the numbers in the last 30 days, 26th in isolated power, 24th in team OPS. I don't like this matchup for him, facing an unfamiliar pitcher that's got good strikeout stuff. I think the Rangers can compete in this game at home. The White Sox really haven't been impressive in 2022, and I think the Rangers compete at least through the first 5 innings. I don't love this Rangers bullpen, so I'm just going to focus on the first 5. Give me the Rangers on the money line in the first 5. In our final game of the night, we see the Boston Red Sox taking on the Kansas City Royals. Chris Bubic and Nick Pivetta are your starters for this one. Now, Chris Bubic starting to struggle yet again. We saw him go 13 innings in his last 2 outings, but 3 home runs combined, 5 walks combined, 5 earned runs as well against the Yankees and Rays. And I think against the Red Sox lineup that's definitely hit lefties better than righties, and as of late, I think Bubic is in trouble here. The Red Sox are pretty big favorites despite not playing the best baseball as of late. I think the Red Sox score plenty, but on the other side, Nick Pivetta, I don't really trust him in this spot. I know the Royals lost some big pieces in their lineup at the deadline, losing Merrifield and Benintendi, but I still think the Royals' offense is competent enough to score here on Pivetta, who's given up 4 earned runs or more in 4 of his last 5 starts, 2 home runs or more in 3 of his last 4 starts. The walks are piling up. The strikeouts really haven't been there. The base hits at least 7 in his last 5 starts, all 5 of those. I can't trust him on the road here. I'm going to take the over. We have a pretty high total, one of the higher totals of the day in Kauffman Stadium. Give me the over in this Red Sox-Royals matchup. And that's it. Those are the games for Thursday, August 4th. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.